What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Otaku Podcast. My name is Hector. I am your host. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. So, a lot of things that we are going to be talking about today. As mentioned in the statement, I will be going ahead and getting that full recap of Season 2 of Peacemaker. So that will be first and foremost. And I will also be providing a small update regarding the scams that were going on within the past few months or so. Positive updates, not for them per se, but positive updates so we can take them down together. I've been in touch with the Virginia Tech agency over there. Also been in touch with various agencies, but apparently this is going across different states. So it's kind of crazy what's going on. And last but not least, I got my guest here. He is waiting ever so patiently. So we'll try to get this speed road and have him on so you guys can learn a little bit about what it's like being a young entrepreneur, being successful at such a young age, and hopefully that will give you guys some encouragement to push forward and not give up on your goals. Now, in regards to Peacemaker Season 2, what a season. You know, I wasn't too sure about the first episode that featured the orgy scene. I don't know how I felt about that. That was pretty wild stuff going on there, but, you know, I got through that scene, and I got through the whole entire season. I actually watched it twice over because I really wanted to get the full gist of what James Gunn was doing out here with Season 2 of Peacemaker. It is connected with Superman. It seems like there'll be a lot more in store for Peacemaker based on the ending. And again, what I liked about the season was how it had a nice balance of action and storytelling. In addition to that, it also featured mental health issues, which was pretty incredible because, you know, when Thunderbolts first came out and it tackled down different issues of mental health, grief, depression, anxiety, stress, even some suicidal thoughts, it was perfectly balanced and it worked in a superhero movie. Now, in James Gunn's Peacemaker Season 2, Chris Smith, who is the main character of the show, who's Peacemaker, dealt with grief, dealt with depression, dealt with rejection and dejection. And so throughout that whole season, he tried so hard to find comfort in it. But that comfort came from finding false narratives, finding a false hope. And you see, it kind of hits the nail on the head with what a lot of us go through, right? We try to find the guilty pleasures that kind of give us that temporary enjoyment. But then when it's all said and done, we feel a lot worse than how we started it. And that was what Chris Smith was dealing with throughout Season 2. He went inside that portal to a different universe where his father was still alive, and his father was actually a good guy. His brother was still alive. You know, that same brother that he killed in Season 1 in the beginning as a child. And then the world was just perfect for him. But as you all saw later in the season, it was a Nazi pro world. Racists, a lot of injustice going on. But since Chris Smith was so blinded by the good things that this world offered, he didn't see the bad things that came with it. And so he realized, well, this was too good to be true. And it was. Because he ended up losing his father again in the other universe. His brother was almost killed in the other universe. I mean, beaten to a bloody pulp, almost dead. And then we saw a final scene of his brother look straight into the camera with anger. So I don't think that we'll see the end of him. And then Chris Smith, of course, was thrown into a different universe at the end of the season. I think it really is the end of the series because it sets up something even greater for the universe there. But he's trapped in a different universe, and the season ended after that. Left us in a big cliffhanger. Although I was a bit disappointed in how that season ended in a sense where I wanted something that, you know, will give Chris Smith his roses. It didn't end that way, but it comes to show that not all superheroes have a good ending. There's not always a happy ending to every good story even, and that's what we saw here in Season 2. Now later, through IGN.com, James Gunn did mention that there is no immediate plans for a Season 3 of Peacemaker, which was kind of disappointing, but he did provide a positive update that Peacemaker will have a larger role in the DCU. So we'll see a lot more of Peacemaker in the coming films. And I believe there's 2 that are coming out next year between Superman, Man of Tomorrow, and then Supergirl. So we'll probably see more of Peacemaker within those two movies. They'll probably collaborate in some way, shape, or form. And the rumor is that Lex Luthor will team up with Superman, just like how it happened in some of the comics. So that would be something to look forward to there, in my opinion. But really, James Gunn has not been rushing with the DCU because he wants to take things little by little. And I think that's very important because Marvel had the issue of rushing everything and putting out 4 to 5 movies a year, but they were all crap. But now that we have 1 to 2 movies a year and maybe one show a year, there's a lot more care, there's a lot more effort in these different projects where it's quality over quantity. And that's something that I've always been a big believer in. So good things to come for the DCU. I'm really looking forward to it. Now, the second part of this podcast here. I made mention regarding the scammers that were going pretty crazy. I mean, this is at least 8 people based on 8 different accounts. Now, I'm still trying to figure out whether these are 8 different people or one person in particular. I mean, it gets worse and worse. And I can see that these people are watching me because it's hilarious how I'll make 1 or 2 posts in my story. In fact, when I released the sneak peek of my issue 4 with little Billy getting sucked into the TV, 2 of those people watched that story. And then a few seconds later, I was blocked again. So they're stalking me now, which, I mean, I'm not going to get scared. I mean, what the heck are they going to do all the way from freaking India? So, I still believe in the fact that what goes around comes around. I'm not really doing much on my end. I'm still paying attention little by little. I'm getting more screenshots throughout the days, checking out different Facebook accounts that are linked into their TikTok accounts, Instagram accounts, and various TikTok accounts that they use. So I'm just getting all the information that I need and just sending them on over because, I mean, they eventually will get taken down. I don't know if the agencies per se will be taking them down because, they got a lot better things to do. But I will be reaching out to other content creators that they basically make their living off of taking down scammers and hackers. So I'll probably be reaching out to them more in the coming days. Today's a pretty busy day. After this podcast, tomorrow's going to be a pretty busy day as well. So when I have a short week next week for work, I'll probably be doing that and locking in with that. So not much of an update there, but just know that there's still work being done behind the scenes. So we'll see how it goes, man. But like I said, I wasn't going to go too crazy with the introductions. I wasn't going to go too crazy with these segments regarding Peacemaker and regarding the scammer update because they're low lives anyways, so I don't need to put too much effort on them. Now, the main attraction was supposed to be inviting my guests to the show. And so this is your segue now to unmute yourself, Bucko. But yeah, dude, so introduce yourself, tell us who you are, where you're from, and we'll go from there.
What's up, guys? I'm Callan Smith. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a young brand owner. I'm working on my clothing brand right now. It's in the process of a rebrand at the moment. And then I'm working on several other companies at the moment too, with a couple of partners. And yeah, I'm just a young entrepreneur trying to make it.
Heck yeah, dude. So, in our conversations, we've probably started talking a couple months ago. We just found each other on TikTok and we liked each other's content. And then here we are now, supporting each other, what we do, me supporting your clothing brand, you supporting my podcasts and the comic book stuff. So I have to ask you regarding your clothing brand here, what inspired you to even start this?
So the main thing that inspired me to even get into the fashion space, it was really I grew up around fashion. I grew up around people always trying to dress nice and taking pictures, modeling. And there was this one YouTuber, I don't know if y'all know him, Marshall Cruz. He's big in the fashion space. He has a crazy, crazy brand, Tame Psychotic. And he was oh, oh, my bad. I thought I got disconnected.
No, you're good.
He's a huge,
I made you full screen so you don't see my ugly face while you're talking.
oh, no, man, you're all good. He was a huge inspiration in getting into it though. because his whole background story, I really like related to it and all that. It's what I grew up on like my whole life, just like clothing, clothing, clothing. I've always been into thrifting.
That's awesome, dude. So, how did your passion for, or yeah, how did your passion for fashion and streetwear culture first begin?
It was probably mainly originated from whenever I got into skateboarding,
Mm-hmm.
because skateboarding is like big into the fashion industry, like streetwear industry and stuff like that. So I would definitely say skating, because whenever I got into skating, my whole entire fashion style changed. Like I used to wear like just plain outfits, all that, but like just like shorts and a regular t-shirt, and then like you get into baggy jeans and stuff, and it just takes off from there.
Heck yeah, dude, that's awesome. So you mentioned that one artist that really inspired you to pursue such a lifestyle, which is really commendable. I mean, you could,
So yeah, it's from like skateboarding culture.
yeah, for sure. So like, obviously you're young. You know, you could be doing a lot of different things that a lot of people your age are involved with, if you know what I mean. And it
Yeah.
seems like you have your head on straight, which is really commendable because like you're really so focused on what you're working with, which is awesome. It's really an inspiration for many people, including myself, for example. So that being said, like what kind of identity or you know ID do you want to throw out there with your clothing brand?
Like I mean like what's like the purpose and
Yeah.
okay, I got you. So like the whole like, cause we're doing a rebrand at the moment. The whole this one, well, I'm trying not to say too much because it is a rebrand and I haven't announced too much,
Okay. Yeah.
but
Don't worry about that.
uh, it's really just for like, cause the name, yeah, I can't really say much about the name. This is hard. This is a hard one.
Okay. How about this then? Let me rephrase the question then. So you have your clothing brand, and you're currently working on the rebrand, which obviously you're on the download for it, obvious reasons. That's
Yeah.
respectable. But like, okay, how about this then? What kind of demographics or targeted audience are you reaching for with this brand?
I, so yeah, my main, since I grew up skating, like big into the skate industry, this whole my TikTok, I used to have a TikTok account where I just did skating. So I've always been into social media and stuff and making content. So I grew up with skating, and that's really like my main target: skating, streetwear, and I want models to like model my clothing. I want it to be on like just in the magazines with the like the actual models like Vogue, because
Mm-hmm.
I want to be making like fashion model pieces, one-of-one pieces,
That's
and like
awesome.
just yeah, I just want it to be like pretty big group of people, but like all the same demographic, like streetwear, skate style, all that.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. You know, it's funny because when I was younger, I also started my own clothing brand. And this was back in LA. You know, there's a lot of competition in LA with, people designing, your garage studios where people would design their shirts and get out the backdrops and take pictures of their friends, for just to throw it out there. You know, obviously for me personally, it wasn't for me because it was a lot of work. You know, you're in the desk, you're designing these, you're contacting your suppliers to get out these shirts at the right time. So there's also difficulties, there's setbacks. So that being said, you being a young entrepreneur, what kept you going during moments of doubt or discouragement?
What kept me going through moments and doubts? Uh, See, I would say the biggest thing would be like trying to think. The biggest thing that like kept me like locked in and determined and kept my mind on the straight path. It was really just like seeing how seeing how like my mom has to live every day and how my family has to live every day, and like just wanting to succeed for them and to provide a better life for everyone, and everything like that. Like the one of the biggest struggles with manufacturers and stuff like that, as you were saying, I recently got scammed for $500 from my manufacturer, so I have to find a whole new manufacturer and all that. That's why the whole rebrand is happening right now.
Oh shoot.
So there's definitely a lot of struggles in it, and you will get scammed if you do decide to be a brand owner. I guarantee you that. It takes time, trial and error. You learn from your mistakes, that's for sure. That's the whole process of it, but it's just
Wow.
trial and error, man.
It's kind of crazy because I would have never thought that happened because I know you mentioned,
Uh,
vaguely in your social media about supplier issues, but I didn't know that was a thing. And what I really liked about how you did it, you didn't focus on that. You kept doing your thing and you kept on, staying focused, keeping your head straight, and you didn't let that take you down. So, what would you think would be like the most motivating factor for you not to give into those setbacks? Because those are pretty big setbacks there, admittedly.
oh yeah.
So, how did you keep on going?
It's really just like the desire to like make something, like the feeling of creating something and people like actually buying it and wanting to wear it and like styling it and like enjoying it. It's a crazy feeling. Like it's really surreal. So that's like the main purpose. Like, cause I know the people out there. There's people out there that are gonna want my clothes. There's a certain audience for every single clothing.
Hmm.
Like, if you want to be a brand owner, you can do it. You just gotta put in the work for sure.
Heck
You'll
yeah,
find your little community. But
absolutely.
the main thing is just like keep going because you know it'll work out because you know how determined and how bad you want this, and you've seen how everyone else can do it. So why can't you?
Dang, that's really cool, dude. So, um, what lessons can you say you learned from this experience of having this major setback that could have pretty much discouraged you from pursuing it altogether?
Definitely the main one. Don't trust Pakistan manufacturers unless they have. Don't trust Pakistan unless they have a seller's license and they're licensed for over 3 years at least.
Yeah.
And that's the main reason, the main thing I learned. And I learned how to find a new manufacturer off of that the correct way, so that's a good thing. So it showed me how to do that. So trial and error, like I said, it
Hmm.
shows you how to do something even better.
So, can you walk us through
And
that then? So, how did you find the first manufacturer that didn't work out, and how did you find the second manufacturer?
all right, so yeah. Uh, so usually how you'll know if it's gonna be a scam, because I learned this from getting scammed. If they message you, which this is kind of common sense. I was new to the brand space, so
Hmm.
if they message you first though and like ask to work with you and all that, just don't even waste your time to reply because if they're messaging you, they obviously do not have enough people already working with them, so
Right.
they're trying to do something funny. But the way I found the better one is Alibaba. You can go on there and there's trusted seller reps, they're licensed sellers, and then you can look at all the reviews, all that. This guy that scammed me was just off of TikTok, so watch out for people that are just trying to like DM you, obviously, and just stuff like that.
Yeah, I could jump on that one because the scabbers that I'm facing right now are from TikTok. So yeah,
Yep.
they are relentless. I'll tell you.
Yeah, and they can be very good at what they do because he had me fooled, and I've been scammed before, but he had me fooled.
Dang. So you mentioned how they reached out to you first. Like this is actually good that we talk about this on a deeper level because I mean, granted, currently there's not a lot of viewers for this live, but when I post it later, it could come across the right people, obviously. So
Yeah.
you mentioned how they reached out to you first. Are there any other indications that will be a red flag that they should look out for?
Whenever they're obviously pressuring you to buy, like they're very eager for you to respond. They keep sending question marks.
Okay.
Like if they're just like super interested into what you're gonna reply with, they're obviously not busy enough. Like that's a red flag. That's a huge red flag.
Okay, that's noted. Thank you for that. Yeah, man. Um, it's very unfortunate that even towards the end of 2025, we still got to be talking about this scammers and hackers and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, especially for a small content creator like myself, and then an entrepreneur, an up and coming artist like yourself that is doing a lot of things already, that many people can't say that they're doing. Like,
Yeah.
they should be supporting you and not trying to bring you down.
Yeah, that's how the industry is. Sadly, it's just manufacturers. They think they have to make that money, and they'll do anything by any means.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I have to ask you too. This is we're gonna roll with the punches, like I said. So we didn't talk about this prior, but you're also into fitness as well. You have your content out there too. Like, what inspired you to get fit, get into shape, and then like keep your physique the way it is? If you don't mind me asking you that.
Well, it's the classic gym bro experience. You go through a breakup, you feel like you go through a breakup, you go through stuff, and you look in the mirror, you just decide. Like that's when the gym really is the whole reason everything has led up to this moment. Like I wouldn't have been became a clothing brand owner if I didn't go to the gym because like the
Yeah,
gym put my mind right with everything.
yeah,
So it was really probably just the breakup and just finding yourself and wanting to get right with yourself. Really.
heck yeah, dude. That's good. Honestly, I think a lot of people miss out on the fact that physical fitness is just as healthy and it's good for mental health. A lot of folks don't think
Exactly.
about that, but it is true. It's got me through some
Exactly.
crazy stuff.
Physical health can really transfer over to help with your mental health for
Heck
sure.
yeah. Heck yeah, dude. So now, what that being said, so just to recap, you know, you have your inspiration for your clothing brand. You obviously face some mental, or not mental, but major rather, major setbacks, which I guess could be a mental setback too in a way. But like, you overcame all that. So what advice would you give to other young creators or entrepreneurs to pursue their path or their goals?
The number one thing is if one of your friends or anything like that ever tells you like you're cringy or what are you doing, you need to like what stop trying stuff like that and that like aspect. Just look at that as motivation and turn that into your fire and fuel because they are just projecting on what they wish they could do. That's all that is, and you just got to realize that it's, it's really how like I don't know what I'm trying to say, but yeah, that's like the main point.
We're saying a bunch of nothing now. We're no, it's all good, dude. You're good. You're good. Yeah. So, have you ever had moments where you were scared, or maybe even moments like, "Dang, like, why am I even doing this for?"
Yes, and yes and no because at the same time, I know what my purpose is. I feel like I I don't know. It's really like determined in my mind what my goal is. Like I feel like God has showed me what I'm here for.
Yeah, that's for sure. And like I said, man, you're to be commended with.
Oh,
You good? Okay. Yeah, you're to be commended, like with
oh yeah.
these goals that you're pursuing and everything. Because, like I said, man, you could be doing a lot of other things out there and a lot of crazy things, that other people your age are posting online. Which for me, call me an old head. I don't understand half the stuff that people are even posting no more. Or at least why, And I'm pretty vocal about that in my podcast. How I feel about certain content creators and what they post out there. But you know,
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you and transparent. Like, you've never given that indication based on your stuff, and that's awesome. Never change that. Keep that same mental attitude, and you are going to be successful.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, that's for everyone that's watching this or everyone that's gonna see this. Just keep that drive and keep that mindset, and whatever you're chasing, it will happen if you stay locked in, stay determined.
Absolutely. So, I mean, now we're pretty much done with the interview portion of this. Like, can you? I mean, let's just have a regular talk for a few more minutes. Like, walk us through the normal life of Callan. Like, what do you do on a normal day, or your off day, or your recreational day?
Well, my days lately have been a little wild because I've been moving around a lot. But the typical day right now is I'll wake up around like, well, I go to bed. To start off from the start, I go to bed around like 10 p.m. I wake up at like 8 a.m. first thing, hit the gym because morning time you hit the gym. That's when you feel the greatest. Feels
Yep.
like you're achieved for the day, so you can go on to everything else. And so I just hit the gym, and then I pack orders, and I'll ship my orders out, and then if anything, I'll sit right here where we're talking right now and do work for a couple hours, and then do a couple marketplace meetups for because I've been doing other businesses while waiting on my rebrand because I'm waiting on my new manufacturer at the moment for production. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been a lot all over the place right now. I'm really ready to get back into workflow for the clothing brand and stuff like that and producing, making ads.
Heck
I
yeah,
got
dude.
big stuff in plan.
Oh man, well yeah, I look forward to seeing what you come out with because yeah, man, you do have some good stuff out there, and I can only imagine, with the new rebrand and everything going on, like it's gonna be miles better than what you had before.
Learned a lot from that first try.
Yeah, for sure. So you pretty much focus on work, keeping yourself occupied with your brand and everything, and your fitness goals, things like that. So, what do you do for fun, like recreational wise?
Uh, I used to really be into skating, but as I was mentioning, but the main like work is really my fun at the moment. Like that's really all that I do at the moment. Besides, I'll hang out with friends, obviously here and there.
Yeah.
Like, and as you see on some of my content posts, I do like to explore some buildings that are abandoned, just for like that's the vibe I want to bring to my brand. Like I want uh like the mysterious vibe and like urbex explorers to come together with my brand and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like exploring stuff and just really just work.
Oh, good stuff. And then, can you remind me where are you from again? Like the like major city and state?
Yeah, I'm from Oklahoma City,
Oh shoot.
Oklahoma. Yep,
So what is there to do
pretty
in
much
OKC?
not much at all. That's why I was saying that my life is pretty lame besides work, work, work. The only
Dang.
thing there's to do is like a movie theater. There's really not much. It's a small town, but it's better than what most people got. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. I saw on your post. I don't know if it was like last month or something. Like, were you exploring like an airport or like or an arena or something like that?
Oh yeah, see that if have you watch basketball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, OKC Thunder. That's gonna be OKC Thunder's new stadium
Oh
next
shoot.
year.
I probably should have said that on
So
live, but yeah. Okay, that's cool, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll retract whatever was
yeah,
said there. But yeah, sounds good.
nah, it was AI generated. It's okay.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Sora's going crazy, dude. So yeah, that's all it was,
Yep.
guys.
Sora
Um,
AI.
Callan,
Waiting on that sponsor.
yeah, Callan got the early link, y'all. So he was able just to put himself in that, and there you go. I mean, you have freaking Abraham Lincoln in WWE with these Sora things, so it's fine. It works out perfectly.
Greatest AI brand out there.
Yeah. Well, dude, I really appreciate you, taking the time to meet up. I know we tried a few times,
Of
but
course.
both of our schedules are so different and busy for various reasons. But I'm glad that we finally got together and just chat and chop it up a bit, man.
Yeah, man, me too. It was fun. I would love to do it again in the future, down the line, once we hit some milestones of us reconnect. I'd love
Dude,
to.
that would be amazing. Well, yeah, I will love that. So we'll keep in touch as we always do, but we'll for sure keep in touch with the updates in the next few months or so because, like I said in my statement, after this episode, I'm taking a break for the rest of the year. So it will for sure be at least a few months before we connect again.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need time to grow. That's perfect.
All right, man. Well, hey, thanks for again joining me in the podcast, bro. I really appreciate you very much. And like I said, I'll continue supporting your brand, and I'll give you the shout outs, all the shout outs that you need to throw the band out there. So whatever you're posting, I'll be sure to share it and repost for you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'll always do the same for you, of course, on this, on everything that you post after this when we get off here.
All right,
Be
bro.
reposting.
Sounds
Appreciate it,
good,
man.
bro.
Though you
All
have,
right. All right, Callan. Take care, bro.
yep. See y'all.
All right. Well, that was awesome. You guys got to see firsthand, what it's like to be a young content creator who is very successful at what he does. And, just to recap, trial and error. A lot of us folks are going through that. We went through it, we learned, and it's really how we grow. It's trial and error stuff. So, Callan's a pretty chill dude. Just the chats that we have on TikTok and Instagram. He's not like a lot of content creators where I should have said this when he was online. Oh well, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to make his head bigger. But like I said, he could be out there posting some questionable stuff like other content creators do, and I wonder why. And he's not that guy. So very level-headed, very humble, which really humility is a big trait to have as a creator, because you don't want to forget the people that supported you in the beginning. You don't want people to really, you want to show the appreciation. It's a full circle thing, man. So yeah, Callan, much success to you, brother. I look forward to seeing the many good things that you have in store for us. So very nice. So now, I kind of wanted to make that introduction shorter because I wanted to give Callan all the airspace. I mean, he had a good 30 plus minutes. That was actually longer than I thought, which was awesome. I mean, I felt was a great interview. But going back to Peacemaker, I thought it was a pretty solid 8 out of 10 overall. As far as the content that was out there, the nice balance of storytelling, the nice balance of action, the nice balance of just everything that's coming together, and really the continuity. Really, it technically started with James Gunn's Suicide Squad. And then it went to Peacemaker. And then it went to Superman. And then it went to Peacemaker 2. And now we'll be looking forward to seeing the next Superman movie and then Supergirl movie. And it's all connected. Like, when it's like that, when it's not all over the place, like Marvel did us dirty between 2020 to 2024. Or 2024. It's a mess. But when you follow that continuity, it just comes out in full circle. It flows very nicely. And I'm really looking forward to what's to come. Like, I have always been a supporter of James Gunn. I mean, all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies were spot on. They were entertaining from beginning to end. And, I mean, it's some of the best Marvel movies out there. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is probably the most depressing Marvel movie out there besides Thunderbolts, of course. So, yeah, man. In James Gunn, we trust. Very good stuff. So, I mean, we're at the 40-minute mark now almost. There's not much more to say. I mainly wanted to talk about Peacemaker Season 2 and, of course, having Callan on board here. We had a good chat, and I have a lot of post work to do. So I'm glad that we started this podcast early because it's going to take me a couple hours to get all the edits in and things like that. But you know what? Hey, this is my little setback here because for whatever freaking reason, Riverside FM wanted to take a big dump and it would have cut off half of the work. But hey, this is the setback. We roll with the punches and we keep moving forward. But guys, thank you so much for joining me in the live version of the Otaku Podcast, episode 10. And just a reminder, per the statement that was released a couple of days ago, this will be the start of the break. So I will not be recording any more episodes until January. I think it's January 3rd will be the next episode of the podcast. So that will be episode 11 and so forth. And then, of course, Remnant issue number 4. A lot of work is being done. I mean, a lot. Like, I have been in the lab, sketching and getting this done through the system I use here to make sure that the artwork is absolutely pristine, is consistent, it is perfect in every way, shape, or form. It is going to get better every single time. And I look forward to the much, needed improvements in the comic book. I mean, really, you look at issue number 1 and issue number 4, which will be out on the 31st. It's night and day of how these comic books look like. Because I would admit, I heavily relied on softwares to design my stuff. But then when I took over the reins and started designing my own stuff and then running it through the system for the fine tuning, it is night and day between the two. And like I said, it's only going to get better as time goes on. So very good stuff, man. So guys, thank you so much for joining me in the Otaku Podcast, where nerds collide.